bettors who rise before the sun, the predators who stalk the odds, the winners who demand an edge.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JP the Ticket.
Listen every weekend, Saturday and Sunday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to Vegas Scoreboard Express live on KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400 as I unleash a barrage of insightful analysis, expert predictions, and winning strategies from the sharpest minds in sports betting to get your money back from the sports books. Go to jbtheticket.com and tune in to KSHP this weekend, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to win with the Sharps. JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. All money, all sports, no bull. Missed the live show? Subscribe to Vegas Scoreboard Express on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and wherever you enjoy your favorite podcast and radio listening.
Keep it locked with your boy on the ones and twos. Going in on the wheels of steel.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball.
There's a war going on outside, no man is safe from.
Scoreboard with rainbow. That's how I'm living.
That's how we do it. That's just the way it is. That's the reason why I came to you.
Drink and women and money.
Good morning, Las Vegas. All of my sports bettors around the world. College football bowl Saturday is on deck this morning. Waking you up early here, KSHP 107.1 FM, AM 1400. Here in Las Vegas and around the world on KSHP.com. Tune in and Spotify. Got a pretty good show lined up for you today. Going to be talking some college football. You know that the season, the regular season that is, has come to an end. Got quite a few bowl games on deck today. Going to be bringing in my main man. He is going to be back in a bit with us. Talking about Ronnie B from Las Vegas, jbtheticket.com, chief handicapper. We're going to be going over some of these bowl games today. We've got the Myrtle Beach Bowl, New Orleans Bowl, the Cure Bowl, Independence Bowl. So it's going to be a big morning in college football. Looking forward to breaking it down with you guys coming up towards the end of the year. Shout out those Las Vegas Raiders coming back after rolling a donut. And this time they gave you a couple of Baker's dozen all over the Chargers. Chargers head coach, he's out of there. Warned you about that Coach Daly scent packet right after the game. They said, don't even come back the I-15. You're not welcome here, but again, you guys are welcome here. Vegas Scoreboard Express, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Follow me on Instagram at JB the Ticket. Want to give a shout out to my brother-in-law, Steve, and got a new sister-in-law. Her name is Grace. Awesome. Dr. Steve, that is, no longer just Steve. Dr. Steve got his PhD and then got married the very next day. Now, that's how you do it. Shout out San Fernando Valley's finest, making it happen. Michigan's finest. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Michigan Wolverines coming up here in a bit. So you guys keep it locked with me, waking you up early in the morning. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. I think I'm going to have John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, and RotoWire.com stop by the big board. So again, keep it locked here. And let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JP the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Skip your cable bill this month. Enjoy the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free. 15% off your first month. No credit check. No deposit. No installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
To the boss of the big ball, JP the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. that shit off.
Giving you that grip.
And that's how I like to wake you back up here in Las Vegas and around the world. JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express. Got him on the line with me, my main man, Ronnie B, JBTheTicket.com, Chief Handicapper. Good morning, Ronnie B. How you doing?
Good morning, JP. It's bright and early here.
Bright and early. That's the way we do it here. Waking you up early in the morning. KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400 on your radio dial for all the workers, the people who get up to make it happen early in the morning. And especially those handicappers who are predators in the book, putting cash in their pocket. That's right, dialing up the money. Somebody's calling in, but Ronnie B here talking to you today, man. Talk a little bit about this college football. I've been watching some of the changes over the past couple of years. I know that we've got another bread and circus coming up in the next couple of weeks, talking about this NIL, the transfer portal, and how things have been going with that. But I want to get your thoughts on this because first and foremost, there's two things that I think. First, there's too many bowl games. Okay. All the bowl games today are just these average teams, and they're the teams that are not necessarily, the cream of the crop, if you will, of college football. But they also, have a situation where people are just kind of looking at this as just, like one of those plays where it's just like, where are these young guys going to come in and where are they going to be successful? How are they going to make some money? How are they going to, get their NIL deals and all of those things, right? But at the same time, you're looking at this and there's a lot of major players, quarterbacks, key players on offense who are in the transfer portal. That's my big question. If you go to a bowl game, and you're going to see a lot more of this as the bowl season goes on, some of the starting quarterbacks who essentially led their teams to these bowl games aren't going to be on the field. But Ronnie B, go ahead.
I agree with you, JB. This NIL stuff is, I think, somewhat destroying college football bowl games. It's taking away from the players that are committed to a school, and then at the end of the season they're non-committal. So it's something that, from a gambling aspect, you really have to look into this if you're going to make plays. So
right.
I'm not into it. I don't like the money transferring for college kids. I think they're destroying football and they're making it political, just like they did last week with the pick of the Ford Finals. I just think it's getting a little ridiculous.
Well, I mean, for me, it's not only the money thing. You've got Matt Rule coming out, and again, shout out to Matt Rule for the one who is really major Division I, coaching Nebraska, trying to bring them back. He's talking about this. In order to get a major quarterback in college football through the transfer portal, or if you're still getting a blue chip or 5-star kid, you're talking $1 million NIL deal. Now, on the flip side of that, from a business perspective, from what I understand, a lot of these NIL deals are coming from national corporations, and I've seen some financial companies use some of the college players that are like swimmers, maybe some of the bench warmer guys, basketball, whatever it may be. Okay, fine. But if you're a business owner and you invest in a young man or a young woman and you say to yourself, hey, I want to invest into this young athlete. They're here in the community and I want to say, under the new rules, give them a car for my dealership. They drive around in my car. I give them a little local commercial. For example, say the kid Ohio State. Okay, this is an Ohio State quarterback. Okay, they're going to a decent bowl game. He's transferring. He's out. So if you're a business owner in that community, let's say Columbus, Ohio, and this guy's going, okay, I'm entering the transfer portal, and then the biggest game of the season, if you will, for that particular game, the bowl game, that starting quarterback, and I mainly see this with quarterbacks. There's other players too, but I'm using the quarterback as the example, not playing in that bowl game. How do you think that affects the value of an NIL deal from a local business owner, from someone who is trying to build their profile through the college program? Who is advising these kids? Because again, may I be the first to warn you, there may be some money clawback here. And I'm just talking about it from a business perspective. I know a lot of people don't like that, but do you think that maybe some of these kids can get clawbacks? We've already seen, just on a side note, in women's college basketball, the situation with Angel Reese. Okay, they Get Mulkey, it's not flying, okay? All you're a superstar before you're a superstar. Again, there's a lot of coaches from the old school that particular attitude and presentation of being able to make some income from what you're doing now on the college field and college court, if you will, isn't going to fly with them. But also looking at the fan base now, the third part of that. So the first thing you got is the business owner, possibly losing money. Then the second thing is you got face-offs between the head coach and the star player who wants to move on after, the regular season. And then the last thing is the fan. And the fans are going to suffer. Can you imagine? They've got a situation down in Texas I want to talk a little bit about. The situation in Texas where Malik Williams, shout out Malik Williams, he came in and helped Texas maintain. And they are going into the Final Four. And this young man puts his name in the transfer portal. And he says, I'll always be a Longhorn, but this is a decision that I'm making for me. So clearly it's all about the money, okay? And then their backup, Arch Manning, again, coming from that Manning family tree of quarterbacks who dominated the NFL for many years, Super Bowl champions, what have you, from grandfather on to the uncles. You look at it and you say to yourself, how am I supposed to bet? Now let's go to the better. The fourth part of this little box here I'm putting together before we get into the picks. If you're a sports bettor and you've handicapped a roster for the entire season, and then you get to the bowl game where you're like, okay, for example, again, Ohio State. Who's their backup quarterback? Okay. That's the reason they were saying they weren't putting in Florida State, right? Because Florida State didn't have the Jordan Travis kid. So if you go from all four of those corners and you say, okay, am I going to bet today? Am I going to be interested in these games today? But also going forward, how do you think bettors, Ron? And again, you do this every day for the website and, put good picks out. Guys, you got to get over to my website, jbtheticket.com. It's sitting there. It's hot. Off the presses. We own it now. There's no, jazz or whatnot. You guys could always, dial in 702-909-0585 or go to the website, jbtheticket.com. Pick up some of those weekend pick packages. So, Ron, for that final, perspective there, you got business owners possibly losing money. You've got coaches having disputes with players. You've got teams that are looking kind of way different than they were. And then, from a fan perspective, and then the sports bettors. Is there any planned progress possibly going forward with this? And do you think that college football may end up in the same situation that college basketball ended up in, whereas it's more of a meat grinder, player in, player out, maybe one or two stars, but you're not going to see the build up? I mean, Jaden Daniels just won the Heisman Trophy. He's on a milk carton. Haven't seen any commercials, any sort of promo with that. So again, Ron, your thoughts on this, and then we'll go ahead and jump into some of these picks after this short commercial break. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you, JB, you hit it right in the head. It's all about the money. They've made everything in college sports about the money. They're taking away from these kids what they've worked so hard to do to get to college, and they've lost the fact that they're in college. There's always time to get to the pro level, but you are destroying the business community. You are destroying the game. When you don't have your star players playing in the bowl games, they played all year, and then all of a sudden they sit out because they're going to transfer for money. I think it's a very sad situation that they put the game in. And just like I said, the Final Four, do you think you have the best Final Four team in the college playoff? I don't believe you do. If Georgia's not one of the best four in the country, I'll buy you dinner. But it's about the money. So they want the audience. That's what it is. Bama wins.
Well, I mean,
they need to stop.
Yeah, it is something that I think that going forward, they're going to have to look at. Again, going back to touch on something that Matt Rule said. Again, he's the head coach for Nebraska. He mentioned that the NIL right now is the wild, wild west. There's really no regulation, and there really is no guideline. You went from being the most regulated sports industry in America, talking about the NCAA, that many of us didn't agree with their tactics and the things that they did to some of these kids with the suspensions and taking Heismans and what have you. But when you go to the perspective of colleges now having to shell out money, he basically didn't put it in a nutshell. He said it's free agency in college football. And I say that the conferences are going to go the way of AFC, NFC, all of that. And when they expand to this 8-12 team playoff, each and every conference, their conference championship should become more valuable, wouldn't you think? But at the transfer portal in the NIL era, it's definitely going to be something to look at. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. When I get back from this short commercial break, more with Ronnie B, and then I'm going to bring him in, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, and RotoWire.com. You guys keep it locked here with me. We're giving you grease this morning. JB the Ticket, let's get the money.
Skip your cable bill this month. Enjoy the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free. 15% off your first month. No credit check. No deposit. No installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Locally owned and operated, come on down to Academy of Hair Design located at 5191 West Charleston Boulevard, number 150 today to begin your career in cosmetology. There is something for everyone from cosmetology to nail technology. You will be able to have the hands-on training that is needed to succeed in this career field. Call 702-878-1185 or visit www.ahdvegas.com today.
You're tuned into the BSX Digital Sports Network.
More fire, more heat.
This next is real.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball.
Back at you live, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, waking you up early in the morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays, right here on KSHP. That's right, you hear the crowd cheering because I'm bringing them on the line. My main man, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, and RotoWire.com. Good morning, John. How you doing?
I'm doing great, JB. How are you?
Doing well. Talking about this college football. Also got him on the line with us, Ronnie B, Chief Handicapper at jbtheticket.com. We were just having a conversation before we got into this college football bowl Saturday. Again, college football bowl Saturday. You can watch these games on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB and get your subscription. Okay, I'm giving you 7 days free, 15% off your first month. It's better than cable. No credit check, no deposit, no box coming to your house. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want to use it? If you've got a smart computer, it's even better. You download the app and use offer code JB. So we're talking about the changes in college football from the standpoint of a lot of schools losing their starting quarterbacks in the transfer portal to another school possibly, and also talking about it from the perspective from a bowl game. Now, we were talking about this a couple of minutes again with Ronnie B here. Ronnie, you still there?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right, perfect. John, I'll throw this one at you. We were talking about Kyle McCord, Ohio State. He did the same thing that a lot of these young men are doing. And I also was taking a look at, again, the Dylan Gabriel kid from Oklahoma. He also is transferring out, and Oklahoma should be getting a decent bowl game, right? How do you think this is going to start affecting college football? Because one of the things that I saw, John, with college basketball, which used to be king, okay, college basketball seasons were regular season camping outside for the games. Every school was getting into it, the madness. You saw schools you never heard of become nationally prominent and kids applying to go there, a la Gonzaga. Okay, no one ever heard of Gonzaga. Okay, if you weren't from the sticks in Washington, you never heard of it. But that basketball team consistently played well. The program, Mark Few, he built up that profile. Now you come back in and you say, NIL era. It started in college basketball with the investigations. They investigated themselves right out of existence, NCAA, the whole Arizona scandal. But now that you can give these kids money, what we're seeing in college football is essentially a free agent frenzy. You've got the head coach, Matt Rule, at Nebraska talking about these $1 million transfers. You got to cut the check if you want to get the best player on your roster. When you see this going on immediately in college football, how do you feel that a lot of these players, these teams, coaches, fans, and then sports bettors are going to be able to adjust? Because if you take an Oklahoma and an Ohio State, two prominent national programs with Heisman contending quarterbacks, guys who top 5, top 10 ranking all season long, skip out on their bowl game. What are your thoughts on this? It's something we've never seen, and I'm not here to knock it or promote it. I just want to get some thoughts on it, because when I'm looking at rosters and I'm seeing backup quarterbacks all through the NFL, it's the year of the backup. Now we're seeming to see it here in college football. It's just football in general. This year is the year of the backup. How do you think that's going to continue with college football going forward? And then from a betting perspective, imagine keeping Ohio State on your betting list, handicapping their roster, and then 10% of these guys don't come in. We understand that a lot of them don't play in the East-West Bowl or the Shrine Bowl or some of these all-star bowls, but your team's bowl game, to see guys start to skip that now, you think this is going to continue to be a precedent? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do, JB. I think, unfortunately, it is going to be a precedent, because what you want to avoid getting a career-ending injury in a bowl game. And bowl games are really, I don't want to say they're meaningless, because for the undergrads that are playing, they're trying to impress the coaching staff to get a starting position for the following season. So it's big for a lot of them, but it's gonna start losing its luster for a lot of these lesser bowls that aren't as popular as New Year's Six, for example. But when I look at the market, we just had Ohio State's Fleming, wide receiver, transfer to Penn State, Pennsylvania kid, basically going home for his senior year. And that's huge for Penn State, because they're already deep in the wide receiver area. Now, when Penn State plays their bowl game against Mississippi, we'll have to see what the depth chart really looks like, and who's going to be playing and that type of thing. But at the end of the day, when I look at the number, and that's hypothetically say Team A is favored by 6 and a total of 50, that price is factoring everything we know about the transfer portal. It's factoring in everything that we know to date about that game and that team against that opponent. And it's much like I learned when I was in my career on Wall Street, that you look at the price of a treasury bond or a currency or Apple computer. That price reflects everything we know about that situation, presently and going forward. So I look at it the same way, and I handicap the Bulls as if the transfer portal wasn't even existing, to be honest with you. It might sound crazy, but it's been very successful for me to just presume that the price is the price, and that is factoring in the transfers and the chemistry, whether it gets better or disrupted by these transfers. But I think you'd go crazy trying to figure this out player by player basis, and what is the team losing, what is the team gaining, until it's all said and done.
Right. And again, you guys are listening to John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. I'm your host and boss of the Big Board, JB the Ticket, VegasScoreboardExpress.com, and I've still got my main man Ronnie B on the line. So Ronnie, he brought up an interesting point. He said that this is going to be a precedent going forward. Let's talk about it. You said -6. You said a total of around 50. So I figured you wanted to jump into a little bit of grease. Rotation number 209, the UCLA Bruins are in the New Mexico Bowl, if I'm not mistaken here. Let me take a look at that. I want to make sure that I'm saying that. But they are a -6. No, they are in the LA Bowl. Wait, hold on. Let me take a look at this. Oh, boy.
The LA Bowl.
Yeah.
It's the LA Bowl.
They're in the LA Bowl. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. And they're going up against rotation number 210 Boise State. Okay, again, it's already a little bit confusing. Boise State +6, Mountain West Conference champions. They beat UNLV. Here at Allegiant, give credit where credit is due. Going up against one of the pretty much stalwarts of the Pac-12 this season. Total is 47. Might as well buy it up to 50. They're dealing with the same situation. Dante Moore in the transfer portal. He's not going to be playing today. Okay. How are you going to handicap this game? Because their backup quarterback, I've been taking a look. I've been trying to get some roster, some depth chart information. It's just not out there publicly. And when you think about it from this perspective, and the Broncos, they fired their head coach, but won the Mountain West Conference championship. So it's happening with head coaches as well. Just so much upheaval and things not making sense. But going into this bowl game, it's essentially another home game for UCLA. In my opinion, you're handicapping the second string. Boise State is going to most likely bring all of their starters. I don't know if there's any particular studs who would try to make that transition into the transfer portal to go to a bigger school or to another school. But the Broncos at 8-5, Bruins at 7-5. This one's on ABC. It's a primetime game tonight. You talk about this. How is there anything going forward handicapping this? Again, this is a game I'm not on. I'm going to like the total if I do anything just to say go over. I think it's going to be a score fest because if you look at it from that perspective, and I'll throw this one at you, Ronnie B. UCLA not having their starting quarterback that got them to bowl eligibility, going up against a team that beat the best team in the Mountain West this year of UNLV. Do you give more edge to, say, Boise State, the total? I mean, I know you got your play on our website, jbtheticket.com, but from a perspective, a standpoint of whatever, of how a handicapper could play this from UCLA, is there any way you can even look at UCLA today as a possibility to bet unless you know everything about their roster? Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the injury report and the portal report, and UCLA has 3 quarterbacks listed on here, either questionable or in the transfer portable or probable. So I don't even know who's going to play quarterback. And then you look at the line. The opening line was -3, and now you're telling me it's -6. So I don't know where the public is getting their information or what they're looking at.
Yeah.
Or if it's the Joes or the pros that are doing this. But I'm going to lean on the underdog here and take the points. Just because I don't know who's going to play quarterback for UCLA.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a weird situation. UCLA -225 on the money line. John Ryan, I'll throw this one at you. Ronnie B, he says, look, I like the points here with the Broncos. Okay, we're giving out a couple of free picks. Our opinions, take them if you want, but if you want a true pick, and we got a game here that we're going to go over some more information with in a second, go to jbtheticket.com. Also, check out John Ryan Predictive Sports Betting Playbook.com. Did I say that, John? Right?
Yep, that is it.
There you go.
Thank you.
He's also got some great packages if you want to do the Wall Street way of betting and just, try to make some more cash. Ronnie B mentioned it. We don't know who's playing quarterback. I already talked about it. We don't know who's playing quarterback. Injuries, depth charts. This particular bowl game, the total is 47. How do you see it playing with your system? Go ahead.
Well, looking at the betting flows here, it is peculiar that more money is coming in on UCLA. It seems to be more of the pros and the Joes, to be honest. 64% of the tickets, 59% of the bet tickets, 64% of the handle is on UCLA. So that leans me on UCLA just on a lean basis only. But the intriguing thing of this game is the total. UCLA comes into this with 6 consecutive unders, and the public is definitely betting the under. There's 58% of the bets, 87% of the handle is on the under right now. So I think I'm with you, JB, that this game is contrarian bets to the over. And, I love live in-game betting, so you're going to be watching this. Try to get a line down at 41.5 or 42.5 during the first half of the game, and that's better than betting it pre-flop at 47, right?
Right. I mean, I like it in the inside game as well. Play it if you're going to play it. Watch how these two teams match up. Now, the Mountain West and the Pac-12. Again, there's no more Pac-12. It's the hey, we're out here. Come see us. Come play us. Give us money. Can you believe major universities? Former Pac-12 universities that are now taking cash games. It's an atrocity what the NIL is doing. It's blowing up everything. All right, moving along to another game today. Rotation number 211, the Cal Bears. Another NIL school. Moving out of the big West Coast. School's still in California, but I think they're an ACC school now, so we're going to have to get a coach with one of them fake Southern accents to move out there to Cal. They're playing a real Southern team today. Rotation number 212, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, -3.5. The Red Raiders are a favorite. This one is called the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Boy, isn't that a mouthful? Yeah, I mean, wow. Okay, this is one of those bowl games where you definitely give that ring to your girlfriend. Okay, you like this one here, 58.5. You got a team 6-6 going up a team 6-6. Here's one thing that, and I forgot to mention this when we were talking about it a little bit earlier. Here's one thing that can really make college football a little bit more competitive and less of a money grab in the NIL era. Make bowl eligibility 8 wins. Right? Because then we don't got to sit here and try to handicap 2 6-6 teams. You know what I mean? 2 turds in a bucket, see which one goes down first. Ronnie B, I'll throw this one at you. When you talk about this bowl season, again, another one of these off-brand bowls, no real significance to anything. All right. And that's the sad thing about it. It's, you know what I mean? What do you see here? I'm looking at totals today. I'm not even looking at sides. And the reason why, people, is I'm playing numbers. Numbers are fun to play. Okay. There are changes at quarterback, star players across the board. But Ronnie B, let's go into some of this grease. Cal at +3.5. Do you like the Pac-12 team, new ACC team over the Big 12 team today? Go ahead.
I'm agreeing with you. We're rewarding teams for 6-6 records for mediocrity. I don't understand it. I agree it should be 8 wins for a bowl game. You think 8-4 is a good number.
Yes.
6-6, you're average. Why do you get rewarded?
That's what I'm saying. It comes from that era. These are the kids that were growing up and everybody gets a trophy. Remember when I was a kid, we had something called Field Day. I loved Field Day. I won tons of awards. I was fast as lightning, could jump as high as a galloping horse. But I tell you one thing, the kids that were slow, we could see that. And then the next year when we picked teams, they didn't get picked. We knew, okay? It was a certain hierarchy, and people say, well, JB, that's cruel. It's not like that anymore. Kids are more accepting. These new kids are crazy, okay? And we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater in relationship to the quality and teaching kids how to be great. 6-6 teams should not be bowl eligible, okay? When I was young, I thought it was 7 teams, and I remember there was only maybe 10 bowls, and then they had something called the BCS, which pissed off a lot of people. But talking about Cal and Texas Tech today, going over to you, John Ryan, this total 58.5. Ronnie B's discussed it with it, 2 6-6 teams. Sure, he's not on this game. What do you see with the totals today? I told you I'm doing a little bit of math, probably do some in-game betting. Go ahead.
Yeah, here again, I'm on the under, and I think generally pros like us generally do play more unders than overs in these bowl games, because what does the public do? And what do the sports books do? They know the public's going to bet favorites and overs, so they inflate the line anticipating that, and then that's when we get some value. So I think there is definitely some value here My plan is to bet 50% pre-flop at 58 and then look for 61.5 during the first half to add the remaining about 50% and see how it goes. But there is a pretty good system here, 70% winners since the last 30 years, betting under with a game 56.5 to 63 inclusive, and a game involving two teams that struggle on defense, allowing 5.6 to 6.5 yards per pass attempt. That set of parameters is 62 and 20 since for the last 30 years, so that adds up to 70%. And this is the first time this play has actually been active. It's covered the number by an average of 7 points in 55% of the games bet. So that's a pretty good one.
Well, you're talking about two average teams. I'm looking at this one. Again, 58.5. I like it to go under as well. I'm pretty sure Cal is looking so far ahead right now. There's going to be a lot of second stringers, guys coming off the bench. Shout outs, guys, and then we'll take a short commercial break, come back and talk about some more of these bowl games. I guess we'll jump into the famous Toastery Bowl. I mean, come on, man. Come on now. I've never even heard of any of these companies. I've never even heard of them, but I mean, we're hearing about them now. It's great promotion. But again, for a football perspective, Western Kentucky rotation number 201 plus 3.5. They got a little bit better record for you there, Ronnie B. 7-5, going up against an Old Dominion team that was costing people all year long. At 6-6, another one of these 6-6 teams. 54.5 is the total. Ronnie B. shout out pick. Then we'll take the short commercial break. Come back. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the favorite on this one, Old Dominion, and let's see what happens with this 6-6 team.
All right, perfect. Ronnie B., any shout-outs?
Well, man, we got a nice play for you tomorrow in the NFL. We'll talk about it when we get back.
That's what we're talking about here. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. In the famous Toastery Bowl, Western Kentucky rotation number 201 versus 202 Old Dominion. 2.5 was where it started, live at 3.5. Old Dominion is the favorite, but Western Kentucky's got the better record. And you know, I like betting the dog if you got a better record at the end of the season. Do you think Western Kentucky can pull this one out for the underlying dog bettors? Go ahead.
Well, I think it's telling you something that a team that has 5 wins is favored by 3 points over a team with 7 wins. So I do agree that Old Dominion is the bet to make here on Monday afternoon at 2:30 in the famous Toastery Bowl.
Famous Toastery Bowl. All about the money in college football. When I get back from this short commercial break, guys, we're going to finish it up and keep giving you the grease. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket.
Vegas Scoreboard Express, Saturday and Sunday morning at 6 on KSHP North Las Vegas, FM, AM, K29 6HP North Las Vegas, and KSHP.com.
The London Bridge Resort in Lake Havasu is the perfect place to vacation in style. Their beautifully designed suites include stunning views, a kitchenette, and free Wi-Fi. The well-reviewed and affordable resort has tons of amenities, including a breakfast buffet, kids camp, a 9-hole golf course, 3 pools, a marina, boat tours, a water slide, and a great nightlife scene. London Bridge Resort is centrally located in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Go to londonbridgeresort.com to plan your getaway today. London Bridge Resort, your Arizona oasis destination.
Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
JB the Ticket, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Back at you live. Got my 2 guys on the line, Ronnie B, JBTheTicket.com, Chief Handicapper, and John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook.com, and RotoWire.com, writer and contributor. So glad to have you guys back on the line with me. Talking some college football, the very first bowl game Saturday. You guys can check these games out on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. You'll see that right there. Listeners of JB get 15% off your first month. If you've got a smart TV, it's even better. You can just download the app and use that code JB, get you where you want to be. So Let's talk about another game here. This one's going to be coming on ESPN today. New Mexico State, shockingly 10-4, a team from New Mexico, winning games. I haven't seen it in a while. I didn't make any money with them this year. They're going up against Fresno State, and Fresno State, again, is a team that has been very, very good playing in the New Mexico Bowl. Rotation number 208, Fresno State Bulldogs, plus 3.5, plus 150. Total is 51.5. Now, again, this is one of these college football bowl games that for the kids playing that might not be getting that national exposure, this could matter to them. Okay. New Mexico State representing New Mexico in the New Mexico Bowl. Let's throw this one at you, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. Do you think Fresno State's a little bit better here? They've had a little bit better schedule than New Mexico State, but does New Mexico State's winning streak stay hot? Because they are 3-1 in their last 4 when they were getting out of the gate. And you talk about it from the perspective of, again, going back to that quality of college football, going 10-4 against the teams that New Mexico State plays versus going 8-4 against a very strong Mountain West this year that Fresno State is coming out of. Who do you think has the edge here? Go ahead.
I do think it's Fresno State has the edge in this matchup. New Mexico State has had a tremendous season, and a lot of congratulations to them. But this is a game I think Fresno State will want to win. After all, they lost their last 3 games down the stretch, both straight up and against the spread. And they have something to prove, I think, on the field of play today. And winning this bowl game is going to help their recruiting once this transfer portal thing concludes. But I think they are the better team here, and you're getting them at plus money. I would be conservative with it. And then in terms of betting systems, if you think Fresno State is going to score 28 or more points in this game, then that is very favorable for Fresno to cover the spread, as they are 77-32 since 1992 when scoring 28 or more. And over the last 3 seasons, JB, they're 14-2 ATS, and that's a pretty good number. So I think they'll score 28 or more, and I would take FSU.
Telling you to take those Fresno State Bulldogs. Moving along to another game. I gave them a lot of grief. I lost money with the 2 losses that they had. Miami of Ohio, the Red Hawks. I'm going to give you a shout out. End of the season. You guys are in the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl. Are you kidding me? What am I reading? What? Wait a minute. John, is that what's on your book? You're kidding me.
It is.
Please read that back to the fans so they don't think that I am joshing them. I cannot believe what I just read.
Well, I'm trying to find myself here on my list, but I do know it was a very strange name.
Wow. Okay, the Avocados from Mexico Cure Bowl, rotation number 205, Miami of Ohio, are playing Appalachian State. Appalachian State is one of the more recent teams in the last 20 years to fight their way from that FCS Division I AA, what we used to call it, division, and to become a stalwart at the top level of college football. They are here 206, 8-5, 5-1 in their last 6. You talk about a team in Miami of Ohio coming out of that MAC conference. I mean, come on, man. We didn't see it coming. Shout out Ben Roethlisberger, Big Ben Roethlisberger, former Super Bowl champion quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's his alma mater. I'm going with Miami of Ohio today. It's probably one of the only cash bets I'm going to make. I'm like, well, look, if you're going to make my money back that you lost me in week 1, you better do it in the bowl game. Appalachian State, 8-5. They tend to put teams on the ropes, and then the fourth quarter, they just melt down, man. 6.5, in my opinion, is too much for them. I'll throw this one over at you, Ronnie B. Talking about the total again, focusing more on the totals, 41.5. Do you like this game to go over? Both teams show that they could score this year, but Appalachian State, again, those fourth quarter drop-offs. What say ye? Any ideas?
I do lean on the under in this game, JB. I'm going to go with Miami of Ohio's defense. They're pretty decent. They're tough. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and the under's on a 4-game streak. So I'm going to stay with them on the win, and I'm going to stay with them with the under.
There you go. Ronnie B's giving you that pick on the grease, telling you stay. Take them on the money on the points and the under. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. What say ye from the avocado from Mexico Cure Bowl? I'm trying to figure out what the cure has to do with anything. That's all I'm saying. Isn't it? You know, avocados from Mexico. Go ahead.
It reminds me of those days when we had bowl games in the late 90s when the internet craze was out of control and there was all kinds of strange names from websites that don't even exist now. So these names are promoting, obviously, the people are putting up the money. So
there you go. It's all about that sponsorship. And we don't knock sponsorship here. I mean, jbtheticket.com, you know, we got our guys on there, Fubo TV, Paramount Plus. We get all that. We get all that. And it's a great way to get your business out there to promote and get involved with some of these college programs. And now in the NIL era, you know, it's a great time to maybe find your next client. But talking about it from a sports betting perspective, you said over, under in this avocados from Cure Bowl, and then we'll move along and finish out the show with just a little bit of talk. The last two games on here, Jacksonville State and UL Lafayette, Georgia Southern and Ohio. Got to go to my website, jbtheticket.com. Pick up a package. I'll tell you where the money is at in those two games. And the reason why I like it, it's got my sweet number of 2.5. You guys know I like doing some magic on those 2.5s there. But let's finish up with this avocados from Mexico Bowl. Take a short commercial break. Then we'll get out of here with some conversation. What do you like, John? Go ahead.
Oh, in this game, I'm really not liking too much of anything, but obviously Manny in the background likes the dog, I guess. So
there you go.
You know, I'm just kidding, but I think this is a game that you watch, and if you do like the under bet, which seems to be our consensus, then again, you know, I emphasize the live in-game betting, and you bet, you know, half your bet pre-flop, and then look for a number in the upper, 40s. To get the other half on. There's nobody telling you have to bet everything before the game starts. So take advantage of the scoring volatility whenever you can.
That's what I'm talking about. And John, just so you know, dogs are always welcome on this show. Let them bark. They'll tell you where the money's at. Telling you in this game, go with the Red Hawks, Miami of Ohio, rotation number 205. Even your little pup Mandy said go with them. So, guys, when I come back from this short commercial break, we're going to be finishing up, getting out of here, talking a little more conversation piece on this college football, helping people have a great Saturday. Thank you so much for stopping by the big board with me. And you hang on the line. Again, give a big shout out again to Dr. Steve. Young man got his PhD, giving out jewelry, starting his family. Did it the right way, man. Proud of you. You put it together. You didn't serve no jail time. You're figuring out. And again, he's a neuroscientist, people. He's a neuroscientist. And again, he's already married. It's like picking up a double championship. And we're going to try to do that today. Hopefully some of these teams will win a bowl game and you guys can win some money. So stay here with me, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. When I get back, we're going to talk you up out of here. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.
Kick off the football season with Drizzly.com. Score big with your favorite drinks delivered right to your doorstep. From ice cold brews to game day cocktails, we've got the perfect lineup for your football gatherings. Visit VegasScoreboardExpress.com and click the Drizzly. Now let's get the party started. Drink responsibly. Must be of legal drinking age. Delivery and availability may vary.
JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, back at you live. Ronnie B, you're still on the line with me there. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, had to sign off. He's on the East Coast in Philadelphia. Has got to get over to the book and put his plays in. Thank you so much for your contributions. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. He's been on a run, guys. If you want to pick up some of his play packages, they're available at PredictiveSportsBettingPlaybook.com. You can check him out on Twitter, X, at John Ryan Sports 1. 21-5 against the spread in the NFL for this past season. So you guys definitely want to check him out. He can get you where you want to be. So, Ronnie, we're done with the picks here. Got about 4 or 5 minutes left. Just want to chat with you. First of all, tell them where you're going to be betting today if they can come see you live. Again, Ronnie B's got the packages live as well. It's got the live link right on his phone. If you sit down and meet him live and you want to get that information, again, support his mission and movement. This stuff ain't free, people. We do this show We do the show because we love the city. We love our bettors. But as we transition into basketball season and next season for a football, no more free picks. We're going to give you great analysis, but you're going to have to figure it out yourself, or you can just go to our website. It's only $19.99. Send that over to us. It keeps the show going, keeps everybody happy. We're old school guys, not trying to make rich. We're not trying to run scam on you. It's just say, hey, look, got a lot of calculators, a few computers. Pick it up. And then when you find out that you just won $1,000 for paying only $20 to a guy like Ronnie B or JB the Ticket, jbtheticket.com. I handicap as well. You'll find some value in that. So let's go back to this college football discussion, Ronnie. About 3 more minutes left before we get out of here. College football has changed. We know it's changed. Okay. And going forward, John thinks this is going to be a precedent. You think it's going to be a precedent? The money involved and all this. We just read off some really wild names in relationship to some of the bowl games. The .com era is over. But the promotion of college sports in this country has become a free-for-all. Do you think that it should stay this way for a while, kind of let the dust settle, let it figure itself out, free market economy-wise? Or do you think they got to come back in with the NCAA with some commie regulation? Go ahead. Or mix of it.
I think they better get a rein on it before they lose control. Like you just mentioned, some of these bowl games are ridiculous. People are going to lose interest, and hopefully the bettors don't go crazy on these games where they're too hard to handicap. Very hard to handicap.
Yeah, it's a tough day out there, people. And again, that's why you got to go to jbtheticket.com. Pick up the offer from my main man, Ronnie B. We've taken the time to look at some of these games. Again, we got the Jacksonville State UL Lafayette game. Game's coming up on the 23rd. College football has changed. And when you look at it from where you can make money, I always used to say, college football, wait till bowl season. You can really make a ton of money here because there's no bad teams. Can't say that anymore, man. We got 6 and 6 teams in here. We got 9-year seniors. What's that new trend? We got about 2 minutes left. The 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9-year senior. I mean, we got Van Wilder at quarterback, people. It's a different day. It's a different era. Ronnie B, go ahead.
I'll tell you what, you're right. They got 26-year-old quarterbacks in college. I don't know how they do it.
I'm telling you, man, these guys are essentially a true farm system for the NFL. You got a lot of these third-party leagues coming out as well, XFL, USFL, trying to make a go of it again. I mean, football, stay true to what the sport is about. Hard-nosed athletics, great strategy, and most importantly, giving young men an opportunity to have a better life for themselves. So again, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Ronnie B, thank you so much for stopping by the big board today. Any final shout-outs before we get up out of here? Go ahead. Got about a minute.
Let's not forget the NFL plays today, and I'm going to give you a free play today on the Detroit Lions. Take the Lions at home minus the 5 and cash the money.
There you go. Telling you take those Detroit Lions. Again, shout out to my main man over in Ann Arbor, Detroit area, Dr. Steve. Dr. and Mrs. Steve making it happen. Miss Grace, thanks so much for hooking that young man up with some love in his life. And again, all of you people out there, we're giving you love as well. Go to jbtheticket.com. Got you set up with those college football picks. NFL on deck tomorrow right here, KSHP 107.1 FM, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. We're going to have those NFL picks getting you ready. Again, shout out to those Las Vegas Raiders dropping a 60 burger and a pink slip on the Los Angeles Chargers. Again, shout out Coach Pierce for making that happen. So we're getting ready to sign off, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great week. Ronnie, you going to be over at the Rampart?
I'm heading over there in about 45 minutes.
You guys know what to do. Get over there and get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball.